Cold winter day out there. Check the temp in the workshop. Indoor temp is 41 degrees. Hey Google, what's the temperature outside?
The temperature right now is 13 degrees.
13 degrees outside. And we're gonna test out the mini split. Let this boot up and we'll see what temperature is coming out. Takes a few minutes to get started so you guys can get an idea. Just got the laser out and you can see it is 42 degrees inside the mini split. It's a few minutes after startup. We're looking, oh, right in there, looking at about 102 and rising. 103, not too bad. 104. Let's go outside and take a look. Okay, this has been installed, I believe it's on its third year. God, it could be coming up on 4 years. And the conditions are, it's lightly snowing. I really don't know exactly what the humidity is. Humidity is an important factor in how these things work, because this side here, this will get covered with frost. You can see the snow is starting to get built up on there, and it'll have to go through a de-icing phase. This whole thing will get frosted over if the humidity is too high, and then it'll have to reverse the cycle to melt it off and then restart and go back the other direction to start the heating process. So when it's this cold out, I don't normally depend on this mini split to heat up this entire workshop, as everything in here started out as 41 degrees. This drill press, 41 degrees. Bandsaw, 41 degrees. 1,000 pounds of cast iron table saw, 41 degrees. That's a lot to heat up with a, I think this is like a 9,000 BTU. So what we're gonna do is kick that baby on up there. That's an 80,000 BTU Mr. Heater Max. Gonna heat this baby up real quick. Just put a new tank in. One tank gets me approximately 28 hours of run time. That's about 2 months of heat. And like I said, I only use this as a boost heat. Get this place warmed up, and then I switch over to the mini split to kind of just maintain. Just here, kick on. Flames going. Works just like a furnace. 123 at 13 degrees Fahrenheit. This is still putting out decent heat. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the #1 home improvement YouTube channel in the entire world. Nowhere will you find all this good home improvement information in one place. Today, got a great video for you. I have to do a hardwood floor repair. I'm going to take you a little bit behind the scenes inside my brain, how I plan for it, how I get through it fast, how I make the money. It all comes down to a notebook. I have found over the decades of doing this that to have an instruction manual is the easiest way to get through something. It also keeps me from forgetting things like tools and materials and steps. I write down every task that it's going to take to complete this project. I got to cut a 1/4 inch shim at 25.5 inches times 2, 15 inches times 2. That's an example of a line item for my schedule, my several hour schedule. After I go through every single step that I think it's going to take to complete this project, I go in the column next to it and write down how long do I think it's going to take me to complete that task. I've done this for just about everything I've ever done in the last 20 years. It is a curse because you become so efficient at life that people who are inefficient, well, you don't have very nice things to say about them because they are all over the place and just wasting time. You become obsessed with the schedule and efficiency and the flow of work. This here is a bundle of inexpensive oak flooring, not the highest quality oak flooring, something you probably have in your house. This is what the board looks like. You can expect to find flaws in it. Now this whole bundle here cost me $27. Actually $29 with some tax. I'm going to go through it and find 3 pieces that are 26 inches long that are suitable to put in this kitchen. Now keep in mind that this repair is underneath the toe kick of a cabinet. It's not a high traffic area. It's not a high traffic visual area either. I was not able to source individual pieces. I normally have them, but I'm trying to cut down on the things I keep in this workshop. I even thought about making them. I've got some 3/4 inch oak everywhere in here. There's a board there, there's boards everywhere. I thought about milling up my own pieces, but for $27, just go buy the bundle, root through it, and find some decent ones. I only have like 3 hours and 20 minutes in time to complete this. Can I do that? Usually it's a no. You always write kind of corrections, make mental notes. What didn't go according to my plan? What was the holdup? Why didn't I meet my time goal? Now you do that tens of thousands of times over 2 decades, and you get pretty efficient at it. I still need my instruction list. Even though I could probably do this without writing it down, you just have to have your CPM schedule, your critical path method schedule, so that you get things done right and you don't make any mistakes. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you would like to get a caulk gun on your shirt, there'll be a link in the description. You can get it with or without the come and take it. Get 26 inches out of this one. And that's the keep pile. Alright, the rest of this I'm going to keep around a little bit, but probably going to turn into firewood. In case anybody's wondering how things are going, 70 degrees, and I turned off the furnace, the propane furnace, and now just maintaining with the mini split. When the furnace is running, even though I've tried to block the hot air coming over this way, it heats up this area up high, and I have to turn it all the way up to 86. I have some fans blowing around trying to circulate the air, but man, I was just up there in the rafters, and it's probably 85 to 90 degrees up there. I have a ceiling fan, but of course there's a lot of things in the way from that ceiling fan doing its job. It's going to be a danger one. Danger close. I've just sold my thickness planer a few months ago, and this would be a great opportunity to straighten out this 2x4. You buy it? I am just trying to cut some shims, but they have to be consistently 1/4 inch. I'm going to be using the gripper. I've used this for several years. I'll put a link down in the description, or I've been using these new little bubbles that pop up inside the video. Could be a link to Home Depot, Lowe's, a specific website. There is an approval process. I'm actually trying to get my caulk gun t-shirts through the Google approval process to be listed in an actual YouTube video. So there is some sort of vetting before you can click on those. Look for the gripper. I'm going to take this off, flip it around, maybe get some push sticks out, just in case. When you have this much blade exposed, it can get a little dangerous, even though I have the fence on one side is pretty much a guard. So I think I got all my materials. Got my floorboards. I got my shims. These things will make more sense once we get over to the kitchen. Another thing I do is I write down the tools that I'm going to need to complete each line item of my instruction manual. And even then, sometimes you forget something. I used to keep every single tool I owned in a tool trailer and bring it with me to every job. That's a story in itself of what the status of the tool trailer. Someday I will have some free time and I will get to rebuild it. This workshop and my tool trailer still houses some tools. I'm trying to get everything out of the tool trailer. Almost impossible though, to rebuild the frame and the suspension on it. Until that time comes, I'm using the bed of my pickup truck to transport tools and material like a lot of you guys are. Here's a quick in prog before filling. This is the original floor. This is the new floor. So everything gets filled in. When it dries, you sand it again, and then you can put the top coat on. But it matches really well. Can't even tell the difference between this board and this board. We'll see how it looks once we pull the tape. First coat completely dried. Now I got to sand it with 220 and put a final coat on. Got to get down low. Check the sheen, make sure you don't have any dry spots. So that repair came out flawlessly. Way better than I expected. I got into doing hardwood floor repairs many years ago. One of my first videos that took off on this channel is called Carpet to Hardwood Stairs. It is a unique specialty, just focusing on stairs. If you guys are handy, you could easily make a very good living focusing on just hardwood stairs. I have a project later this summer on a massive staircase with a landing that is currently carpet and needs to be converted to hardwood. Make sure you're subscribed, click that bell so you don't miss it. If you got questions, I know you do, you're probably wondering,
why didn't he take the hardwood floor all the way back to the wall?
that is a common question from the layman. I will answer that in the next video. If you guys are interested in getting yourself a gripper, it's not sponsored. I do recommend it if you do some table saw work. There'll be a link down in the description. There'll also be a link to where to get yourself a caulk gun shirt. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.